What is Yuthura Ban's rare Jedi dialogue that can be unlocked in Knights of the Old Republic?
The Sith bring more misery than the slavers ever did. I don't know why I didn't see that before. I may not be able to change everything at once like I wanted to, but it would feel good to really help someone for a change.
To redeem Yuthura, you must follow a set of prerequisites. The first being, you must visit Korriban at least by your second planet, which will be made clear why soon. Although, canonically it should be noted, the Sith World should be left as your final star map due to a plethora of otherwise inaccessible Revan-related dialogue.
So it is Darth Revan, not dead as we were led to believe.
The second prerequisite is, when joining the Sith, you must learn the full story of Yuthura Ban's tragic past. To do so, you must pass a few speech checks when chatting to Ban before the final test in Naga Sadow's tomb, and in doing so, the Sith will reveal grisly details about her past as a slave on the cut world of Sleheyron.
I was originally a slave to one of the Hutts. The Hutts control everything on Sleheyron, and a slave is nothing to them. I was determined not to be nothing. One night when the drunken worm had me alone in his chambers, I stabbed him and escaped the compound. I stole onto a cargo ship and was not discovered by the crew until they reached the next system. They left me for dead on a desolate planetoid, alone. But that was fine by me. I was glad to be anywhere other than Sleheyron. It was not luck that I was eventually rescued, of course. The Force was strong with me, though I didn't know that at the time. Not until the Jedi told me, that is. After escaping from Sleheyron, I was found by the Jedi. They took me in and trained me, even though I was a bit older than most Padawan. I never progressed beyond Padawan. I have discipline, but no peace. And after my treatment at the hands of the Hutts, there was little room in me for the ways of the Jedi.
You sound much like someone I know.
Yes, well, I imagine I am not unique. Things very easily could have been very different for me. I wanted to use the Force to free the other slaves I knew, to fight for what I knew was right. The Jedi restrained me until I couldn't stand it anymore. They claim the dark side is evil, but that isn't so. Sometimes anger and hatred are so deserved and right. Sometimes things change because of it. But my anger has not diminished, nor my desire to see change. The more time I spend with the Sith, the more I am certain that one day I will be able to fight as I must. I know this may sound strange, but only my compassion stands in my way now. Once that is gone, let the slavers beware.
But if you lose your compassion, will you still care about those slaves?
Yes, of course. I mean losing my compassion, as in holding back. But enough of that.
Furthermore, she will curiously deem Revan a friend when all dialogues are complete, a definite taboo within the Sith.
Come back soon, my friend.
After gaining Yuthura's trust, you will then be confronted in Naga Sadow's tomb by Uthar Wynn and his apprentice at the culmination of your final trial.
So the time has come, has it? You both wish to stand against a Sith Master and perish, do you? Then so be it.
Post defeating the Sith Master, Yuthura will then begrudgingly turn on her newfound friend.
Uthar is finished, and a new order is brought to the Academy. Excellent. While I do like you, truly, I'm afraid I'm not the type to share power with anyone, even you.
But I don't want any power.
I'm sure. I told you there was no such thing as friends among the Sith, didn't I? Let's get this over with.
However, after engaging the power-hungry Sith in combat and gaining the upper hand, she eventually yields before you can kill her.
Oh, stop. I yield. You are too strong for me. I was a fool to think otherwise. I am at your mercy.
It's here, following specific dialogue options, that we can unlock her Jedi path and say, "You ask for mercy. You, a Sith."
I suppose I am. Something tells me that you are not like the other students. I don't know why that is. I was right the first time back at the cantina, wasn't I? There is something different about you. More so than I even suspected.
I'm not all that different. I just don't want to kill you.
That alone makes you different. Most of the Sith here would not think twice about it. So what happens now? Will you show me mercy? Will you just let me leave?
Tell me why you tried to kill me first.
I had no choice. You reminded me too much of a time before I became a Sith. I didn't want to think about that.
And with a final persuasion option, which can always be succeeded if you have over 60 light side alignment, you can say, maybe you should think about it.
I suppose you could be right. All the things I wanted to do, all the wrongs I wanted to right, I haven't done any of it. They just get farther and farther from my mind. All I've cared about is power and myself. This isn't the person I was.
There's still time to change that.
You're right. Maybe what I needed most was peace after all. The Jedi tried to show me that. I don't know if I can ever go back to them, but my place isn't here. Thank you. Thank you for showing me that. You have a destiny, my friend, and I wish you well on your way to it. May the Force be with you.
After wishing us the best and limping away, one could be forgiven for believing that Yuthuras simply left or disappeared from game, as other dialogue options when successfully sparing Ban would have her return to her familiar room in the Sith Academy.
Your destiny does not lie with the Sith, at least not yet. The Academy is mine now. I trust you won't be remaining long, correct?
However, something I personally never realized due to it being easily missed, although this is a favorite story arc among fans, is that your journal will then update saying, your final test within the tomb is over and Master Uthar is dead. Yuthura turned on you, but you defeated her and spared her life. She decided to leave the Sith and at least speak to the Jedi that had once trained her. For the moment, the Academy will not know that Master Uthar has been killed. So, it may be a good time to leave Korriban while you can. Congruently, as mentioned, Yuthura can be found then on Dantooine, which makes sense that you must complete this quest prior to obtaining the third star map, as the Leviathan not only abducts you, but will bombard the Jedi Enclave, making its entry inadmissible, and the majority of its inhabitants' fates unknown. However, tucked away safely for the moment at the north end of the courtyard outside the Enclave in the northeast corner is none other than Yuthura Ban, still in her Sith garb, as she greets you with a bounty of dialogue options and updates with her returning to the Jedi Order once more, saying,
Hello. It is good to see you again.
Yuthura! So you made it after all. What are you doing here?
You told me I should rethink my path, and I did. You were right. It's been very hard to let go of all those thoughts about power and strength and victory. I don't know if I'll ever be completely free of them. The real irony is that despite what the Sith Code says, I have never felt more free. I think I might be able to find a little peace here. Finally.
Yuthura has greeted us. It will open a plethora of speech options, so I'll do my best in breaking them down in an order that makes sense but doesn't miss any of her dialogue options. And so first we ask, so the Jedi Council will let you stay?
For now, they've been very welcoming, more than I'd expected. I met my old master. He cried when he saw me. I was embarrassed to see his weakness. Old habits die hard. But it felt good, too. It felt good to know he missed me, that he worried about me. The council said they would give me time to decide if I wanted to try again, if I was ready. I don't know. There's so much I've done.
Well, you've got a lot to atone for, I suppose.
Yes, part of me just wants to forget it, to put it behind me. But that isn't right either. I have to accept it and move on.
Right. You've seen what the dark side can do.
I suppose I have. It's still tempting, all that power. But I've had my fill of it, and it wasn't enough.
Well, I think you should at least try.
I suppose I owe it to you, and to myself, to give the Jedi another chance. I'm not the foolish young girl I once was.
And finally, we can console her saying, I wouldn't worry about it so much.
It's not that easy for me. There's an ache inside me I just can't seem to quench. My old master said he would start exercises with me again, slowly, when I was ready. He said my experience with the dark side could make me a very wise Jedi. There is no emotion. There is peace. There is no ignorance. There is knowledge. There is no passion. There is serenity. There is no chaos. There is harmony. There is no death. There is the Force. Those words never held such resonance for me until I returned. I'd like some serenity, some harmony. Wouldn't you?
It's quite amusing that even though we've just risked our lives to redeem Yuthura, we can still have two options, one light being, if I had a choice, yes.
Yes, I suppose your fate still has much in store for you, just as I saw back on Korriban.
And yet the second response still tipping towards passions of the dark side being, that's not really my style.
That's too bad. A little serenity might be useful considering the fate you have in store for you.
Oh? Do you think you might ever go back to the Sith?
I don't know. I doubt it. Even if I wanted to, the Sith would never take me back. To them, I am a traitor. But the dark side, that's a different matter. The dark side is not the Sith. I still feel its temptation strongly. My emotions are so strong. Just the other day, I nearly attacked a poor Padawan for tripping into me. Nearly berated his clumsiness and weakness. I didn't, thankfully. But it's difficult to fight off those feelings. How do you do it?
The first and second dialogue options garner the same response, though the second is only tied to a light side character. And you can say, I try. I'm not always successful. It's not easy.
That's the worst thing to hear. How hard it is. I suppose that's the honest answer. The dark side is the easier path for a reason.
The third cocky answer is, I'm just a natural, I guess.
You jest. But I think I know how you really feel.
Unsurprisingly, a dark side character has the option to be a bit more candid about how they keep their feelings in check, saying, I don't. I do what I like.
And to think I took my advice to come here from you. Perhaps you should follow your own counsel sometime. The one thing that made me come here was how hard I had to think to remember where I began and where Yuthura the Sith Master ended. That wasn't the person I wanted to be. So how did I end up there? It will take some time for me to sort through that, I think.
We can then circle back to arguably the catalyst of Yuthura leaving the Sith, which was her opening up about her time with slavers, and say, what about all those slavers you wanted to fight?
You know, I'd forgotten all about that until I spoke to you about it on Korriban. Strange, considering my hate for them is what made me leave the Jedi. I think I've got to help myself first, before I can help anyone else. Maybe once that happens, I can work with the Jedi to make a difference. They may work slowly, but they do make a difference, don't they?
The first two options lead to the same dialogue in which we respond, I think they do. Maybe a little.
More than the Sith did. The Sith bring more misery than the slavers ever did. I don't know why I didn't see that before.
Of course, instead, we could have responded, not really.
You believe that? I believe that they're better than the Sith. The Sith bring more misery than the slavers ever did. I don't know why I didn't see that before. I may not be able to change everything at once like I wanted to, but it would feel good to really help someone for a change. Maybe that's a reason to change. Maybe that's a reason to stay. I guess I'll see.
Now, the final dialogue option is perhaps the most interesting, as we make a final bid for Yuthura to join us at our side against Malik, something that we attempted on Korriban. This was a long persisting rumor that Yuthura was a recruitable party member that was cut due to time issues, just like the planet Sleheyron. And we ask, why don't you come with me? I could use you at my side.
That's very tempting, but I'm not ready to leave here yet. And I don't belong on the path you have to take. I told you that on Korriban. It's still true. But perhaps you could come back afterwards. I could certainly use a friend then.
Thoroughly offended at Yuthura's rejection, Revan doesn't miss a beat in responding in turn, saying, we're not friends.
Oh well, that's too bad. I'm still grateful for what you have done for me regardless.
If instead we accept the friend zone with dignity, we can respond, I'd be glad to be your friend, Yuthura.
That's good. I look forward to that time. Perhaps we can travel together then.
And finally, we have a more solemn response and say, I don't know, I might not be coming back.
I know. I can see that about you. I'm not sure that we will meet again, still I can hope it is the case.
With every dialogue option successfully explored, we then say to Yuthura, look, I've got to go.
Then may the Force be with you, my friend. I hope we will see each other again.
And with that, if we attempt to speak to Yuthura Ban for a final time, the only thing she will respond is putting us back in the friend zone.
Good luck, my friend. May the Force be with you.
Although we've successfully explored Yuthura Ban's redemption to the light side from the dark, there's only one question, or should I say mystery, that remains. She mentioned that her former master cried when he saw her. So, who do you think is the secret crybaby Jedi Master? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. My money's on Dorak.
Greetings, young Padawan. Have you come seeking knowledge of the past? Those who do not learn from history are doomed to repeat it, or so they say.